I mean, wicked can just be more than just a word, a descriptor word. Like it can be an
An
actual
adjective.
noun.
Barding. Ah.
These
I don't know
things.
any of these things besides
How
Bree's
do you
hockey
how do you
journey.
We got our first hater the other day.
shout out to my dad?
That made me mad. Now I'm triggered.
Oh, and god damn it. What a pro wants. What a pro needs. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 58 of the Bread Loves Hockey podcast. We've got Dean, Bread, and Chandler returns. Happy to have you back for first appearance in season 2. And yeah, you're sporting a jersey too. I'm always a fan of that. So
Yeah, baby.
go Devils.
Devils PK Subban jersey.
Gross.
No, happy to be here on the podcast. Appreciate you guys having me on.
It's been a bit of a lull lately, but there is one sad story that's been going around, which we had recorded basically the night that this broke out, so we just missed it in last week's episode. But the tragic passing of Johnny and Matthew Gaudreau, this has been going around a lot, and it affected me a lot more than maybe I would have thought it would have. Like because I read something about it late Thursday night before I went to bed, and it was still kind of unconfirmed. There were a couple things, and I was just sort of going to bed hoping that it wasn't true and it was just like an awful sort of rumor. And then woke up Friday morning and checking my phone, and it just like ruined my whole day pretty much. It was like, this is unbelievable. I don't know. I'm a little bit better now, but it's like it's still kind of raw. Like I keep seeing people making posts about it, and just like old highlight videos of things. It's like, man, it's such a shame.
Yeah, I mean, well, so many things like seeing the outpouring of love, and then also just the day after it happened, like every post was about hearing more details, and even like every detail was just more and more gut wrenching. Like of all, they were like riding their bikes coming back from the rehearsal for their sister's wedding, which was going to be the next day, and then finding out that like I didn't know Matthew Gaudreau's wife is pregnant and like expecting their first kid.
Yeah.
And then Johnny has 2 kids, and like the timing, I mean, there's never good timing, but it was like seemed like the worst possible timing. And even just like knowing that it was a drunk driver, and it's like it could have been completely avoidable. It's like on so many factors, it's like all around terrible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been a lot of love, a lot of outpouring, especially from Calgary and Columbus fans. I know there's been memorials at both of those arenas, and just a lot of people sharing fun memories about Johnny and about Matthew as well. I think Johnny's wife Meredith was posting some photos and things, and just I never had heard anything bad about Johnny Gaudreau as a person, like pretty much ever, and I still haven't. I mean, it's just been like, it's just such a darn shame. That's all there is to it, and you just wish that things were a little different, and that somebody made a better choice. I'm always upset when it comes to drunk driving and DWI. It's like it's so
Especially
avoidable
nowadays,
today.
it's so easy to like, especially like you're in
Uber,
Columbus, like there's
yeah.
definitely Ubers, like you can just like pay $20 or whatever on your phone, and wait an extra 5 minutes to get picked up. Like,
yeah. And they were like outside of Philly, so it's like it's not like it's gonna be any different there. Like unless you're in like a really rural place, maybe, but there's always another option.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just awful. But it's been definitely a little raw. It's getting a little bit better now, but we are gonna miss him. And again, it just hurts for the Blue Jackets again with, now this is the second player in 4 years that the organization has lost, with Matty's Kivlenix, tragically passing 2 years ago in that July 4th accident, which was also just like a freak thing, and there's nothing you can do about it, but it just kind of rocks you to your core. And I'm sure the whole organization has been shaken up the last couple of weeks. Well, yeah, and I know like teammates and staff have been offered, mental health assistance and things like that, which is good. But yeah, it's a rough time for Blue Jackets fans, especially.
Yep.
Yeah. Especially when someone that you're traveling with, you're with them all the time, like as a player, someone that probably feels like a brother.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys too. I can't imagine. I have no idea what they're going through, and
Especially
the parents losing both their kids. Like that's
Oh gosh, yeah.
that's devastating.
Yeah.
There was like
Yeah.
some quote about how they were supposed to be gaining a son that day and they lost two sons instead. And like that, I read that and my heart like sunk.
Yeah.
I just really feel for the whole family. But yeah, not good.
Our hearts go out to everyone involved.
No
And all
doubt.
the families.
And I mean, the Blue Jackets, just I guess to touch a bit on the on ice things, like it's just another, like, I don't know, they're not even at the cap floor technically. I think with this, I don't know how that works out, but it's kind of, I think they would probably be granted an exemption by the league if they like really couldn't find a way to get back. But yeah, again, it's just like it's, you're still looking forward to a strong season. It would have been his third season with Columbus, and yeah, you're just never gonna know what could have been. But we don't need to harp on it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there's no good way to segue out of something like that.
No,
but
there isn't.
we can talk about the other big news in the last week, which actually just happened today, was the Draisaitl signing. 8 years, 14 million per year, so he becomes the highest paid player in the league.
Pretty good.
I don't know,
Pretty good.
750,000, 500,000.
I think it's 500.
Matthews made.
Because I think he makes. Does he make 13.4 or 13.5?
I was gonna say 0.25, but I guess we can look it up now.
Yeah, well, take a quick look. See, it's a race. I think I'm gonna lose.
13.25. Nailed it.
Okay, yep. I just got there.
I mean, we did go over all the top contracts last week, so
yeah.
On the
I guess it was pretty fresh on the brain.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about the value?
Chandler can go first.
Boy, 8 year, 112 is a lot.
It is.
But it's Draisaitl.
He's definitely the guy to do that, though, right? I mean, aside of a couple guys in this league, his teammate McDavid being one of them. I mean, how many other players are you gonna put that that contract to outside of the drop outside of Leon there? But with that price tag, I mean, how many goals are you expecting to get out of them? What's like the expectation? Is it 45? Is it 50?
I mean, I think if he keeps playing the way he has, I think they're happy paying him that much.
Yeah. I definitely think it's a good move. I mean, they're in win. They gotta win now mode. So, yeah, I think it's good. I'm always happy to have players making more money too. So
yeah, I mean, I'm if I'm an Oilers fan, I'm happy with it. Like the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last 6 seasons, 5 of those he was over 100 points. And one of those seasons, he only played 71 games. The season he didn't get 100 points, he only played 56. So
right,
like, if you're just a consistent 100-point player, like, yeah, maybe you're not worth not every 100-point player is worth that much, but again, like, he's still only 28, and I assume with him locking in this contract, he knows that McDavid's also going to lock in one. So it's like you're going to make that much and keep playing with like the best player in the world. Seems like a good deal for him, a good deal for the team. I don't know.
Yeah, I
And did you
mean,
see that?
you wonder about the
Like
implications.
the his signing bonus was 104 million. So
Oh
he's
yeah, I
getting
did see
so
that.
his AAV or what he's getting paid is like 100 or 1 million a year. So it's basically like lockout proof and buyout proof, that sort of thing. So
That
there's
is
that
pretty
too.
nice.
Yeah, just upfront, just get a check for 104 million dollars.
Whew,
Here you go.
that's a
Oh,
lot of
that's nice.
zeros.
Yeah,
You wonder what the implications are for when McDavid's extension is due to kick in, which would be the earliest that he could sign an extension would be next summer. But he's a UFA in two years. Um,
hmm
like you think, like I mean, I personally think that McDavid is a more talented player and worth more than Draisaitl. So it's like, okay, next year, or do we kick it? Like, do we kick the extension in until like, or do we wait until he's a UFA? Like, I don't think you do that. Uh, I think you kind of have to lock him up after this season. So where are you like? What are you looking at? 14 and a half, 15 million. I mean, you got to
yeah,
lock him up for 8 years because I think he would
right.
absolutely earn more than that if he,
Yeah,
did a short term deal.
and then a third of your cap is locked up in two players, but it's two of the three best players in the world. So it's like, works for
I,
basketball.
yeah, I mean, you're on the cusp of a Stanley Cup. Yeah, I think you got to lock up McDavid too with this after this signing and just ride it out as much as you can.
Might have to figure something out with Nurse. I feel like the
Mm,
9.25 that he's making right now until what 2031. Uh, that's I mean he's just got to step up a lot if he's gonna play to that contract. Otherwise, I don't think he's gonna be here for the whole thing. Um, but yeah. Anyways, I think it's good for both parties to lock him up. We'll see what the cap implications are as things get more difficult, especially if they don't win, in the next couple of years. Like, all right, now we've really got to pay these guys. I mean, I don't think they're going to be the problem, but it's like, can you bring in enough depth with the amount of money that you're paying them, which is the whole thing with, Toronto, especially, and some other teams where they've got these overbloated contracts a little bit. But we're starting to see $10 million players win the cup with Eichel and
Bobrovsky.
Bobrovsky. Does I think Barkov makes 10 million as well. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. He does. Yep, 10 million and 9.5 for Matthew, but technically not enough. Let's see. We got some. Do we have any other big signings? I feel like we had a
I
couple.
just added a link about PTO, that a tweet from um I already closed it. Well, I put the link at the top. Um yeah, Tyson Berry is expected to sign a PTO with Calgary. Got reported 2 hours ago.
Did see that, and so yeah, he would be play like if he ended up signing with them and playing with them, he would be a player who's played for the Oilers and the Flames. So that's kind of fun. But I mean, I think they should definitely give him a chance. This is fine because the expectations are, especially looking at like their projected cap hit right now, they are not going to be a competitive team. They have the second most cap space right now besides Columbus. So they're definitely in a rebuild, and they could use anybody to just fill in, I think.
Yeah. I've always liked Tyson Berry. Like as much as I like to brag that I was a Yossi fan before he was even that good, I also on the flip side thought Tyson Berry was gonna be like a really good defender, like top pair for like Yossi level. And
Mm.
I was very wrong about that one. So
Yeah, no. I mean, he had some good years, and then once he got traded to Nashville, it didn't really click that well there. And yeah, he's 33 now, but I wouldn't be surprised if he stuck around for a couple more years. So
Yeah.
we'll keep an eye on that. We do have a couple other PTOs, and then there are a few signings that we'll get to. But Tyler Johnson signs a PTO with the Bruins. That's fine. Stanley Cup pedigree there.
I think he's 34. So like again, like see what he has left in the tank. Like I think he plays like he puts like his full effort in every shift. That kind of guy. So I'm like, if you're willing to play that style and like maybe make some of the young guys kind of like fight for their positions, like doesn't hurt to have that like inner competition on the team.
No.
Again, like PTOs, it's like man, can't hurt.
Yeah, and I mean,
Worked
even
last
if
year
they
with
do
Heinen.
sign him, it'll be for league man. He'll probably start the season with Providence unless he like earns a roster spot out of camp. But yeah, again, the whole PTOs, it's just give somebody a shot, and you don't have to commit to anything right away until you see their performance level.
Yeah.
And Steven Lorentz, Stanley Cup champion this past season with Florida, has signed a PTO with Toronto. So they're looking at a couple former Panthers because they did grab Stolars as their backup right now to Wool. So I think Lorentz could be all right. I think I don't actually know how old he is. I feel like he's not that old, but I have to look. So probably worth giving him a look. I feel like he's not that bad. Oops.
Oh, this is I don't know, it's kind of signing related, but the guy that the Bruins drafted, Jonathan Morello, who was going to play for Clarkson.
Oh yeah.
He committed to now attend Boston University.
No.
That was short-lived.
Dang,
Damn.
man.
Well, I guess
Like,
that's
maybe he went to Potsdam and was like,
ooh, like it's
maybe not.
kind of dreary up here. I mean,
Yeah.
Someone
I mean,
just
from
tweeted-
Canada though, so like how
this is the
different
best
can it
time of
be?
year to visit, though. I would think.
That's true.
Yeah.
Never been up there at this time. Well, I guess actually, yeah, I have. This is like second week of school, probably third week, maybe for some schools.
I also don't blame him if like he has an offer from BU. It's like, go ahead.
You're gonna get a better opportunity there. I think you're gonna get more eyes on you. Like you maybe you get
He would have
closer
been
to
the guy at Clarkson.
yeah. If that's not the role that you want to play, like oh I'm the best guy here. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
He committed in 2022 to Clarkson, so like in a couple of years.
Someone needed to buy him an Evans Big beer
Yeah.
there you go.
to convince him.
I'm sure there'll be some other fun players that will end up going.
Maybe someday.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. That's what you always say, Dad. Come on. No one's ever gonna come to Clarkson. We have a couple other signings, though. So Nick Cousins signs with the Senators. I'll be very curious to get Owen's take on that. I feel like he doesn't like Cousins very much.
No one does.
So, yeah, he's definitely more of a dirty player, very physical. But he was on the Cup team, so that is valuable. And that could be good. I mean, again, you're not going to expect a whole lot of offense out of him. Hopefully he doesn't get suspended or badly injure anybody, but I guess you'd rather him be on your team than not.
I guess.
I don't know. And I probably wouldn't have picked him up if I was a GM.
No.
I don't know. I've said before I'd be terrible as a general manager. I feel like my instincts sometimes they're just so off.
If I was a GM, do you know what I would do? I'd re-sign Seth Jarvis for 8 years, 7.42 per year.
Is that so?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd do.
Somebody else did that, didn't they?
Yeah, that nerd from Carolina. What's his name?
Oh, Tulski? Eric Tulsky, I think.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, we like him.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah, 22-year-old Seth Jarvis, big signing. Did you see his like announcement on Twitter?
Yeah, on the jet
Like
ski.
rolled up in the jet skis, like I'm back.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
Oh my god.
he was like putting out t-shirts that had him like grabbing a bunch of money, and he was kind of trying to like manifest the bag a little bit. So he's a very funny player.
Oh, I love that.
With a lot of upside. He's only 22, and he's now the third most paid forward on the team. So I think the expectation is that contract is gonna look really good. And not only that, but they did this deferred money thing. Did you guys see this with his deal?
No.
It's actually, if you go to the Chris Johnston tweet there, it's got the details. But yeah, basically, so the deals has 30 million in signing bonuses, including 1 year deferred to a ninth year that affects the AAV. I'll just read the rest of the tweets that he had here. Deferred payments have been permitted under the NHL CBA since 2005, but they've been seldom used. One of the rare previous instances it's known to have been deployed was one of Shane Doan's Coyotes contracts. Multiple teams explored the possibility of using the mechanism in talks this summer. The VGK made Jonathan Marchessault an offer with deferred payments before he hit free agency, for example. So that's something that we had kind of wondered about if they were trying to do something like that, which turns out to be true. But the Hurricanes got it done with Jarvis. Fair to assume they won't be the last. Deferred money deals lower the cap hit because of a present value of money calculation. So the year 9 money Jarvis is paid in 2033, which, oh my God, I can't believe that's a year, won't be worth it. Won't be worth as it would be today. So this is similar to like the Shohei Ohtani deal. If you guys know baseball, he's like a major.
He's like the only baseball player I know.
Yeah, that's the only one I know too. The 70 million
Dominating.
AAV on that contract was reduced to roughly 46 million because Ohtani deferred 680 million of the 700 million dollar contract. So, and then one more caveat here. As pointed out by NHL front office sources, I don't think I saw this. The main reason deferred contracts are so rare in the league is that players have typically resisted entering those arrangements. Generally speaking, players want as much upfront money as possible. So, yeah, I did see that. But that makes sense.
Draisaitl contract.
Exactly. I love how those things work out. So, yeah, this is really good for the Canes. I think this is probably something that we will see trying to exercise a little bit more. Who knows like how many players will actually agree to it. But especially with the Canes being up against it as far as the cap a little bit, and just like, yeah, if I want to make my team a little bit more competitive, if I can just slightly reduce that cap hit each year, that could go a long way potentially. So really maximizing what you have, I think that's smart.
So that's how they're gonna pay McDavid.
Right. I know there were like a lot of teams like sad when they heard that Draisaitl extended, like they really had a chance. You know, like the Sharks were
The
like,
Bruins.
"Oh yeah, we didn't get
I
him."
have to stop making that joke now. Like,
Yeah, yeah, you can't.
That one rumor that like someone posted months ago.
Yeah. Oh.
Darn.
And that, who was it? Ovi was like, I would really like to play with Draisaitl and Crosby. And it's like, oh, would you? Yeah, that sounds good.
We all would.
We're working on it. Don't expect anything anytime soon. Oh, yeah. But I don't know. What do you, Chandler? How do you feel about the Jarvis deal? He's in your division, so he will be again for a while.
He's a really great player. I just love his persona too, man. Like, he's definitely a character that I think, especially when he's playing well, it's a double win. I mean, he's got really great energy. He's just a really freaking good hockey player.
Marketable for sure.
Yeah. Sad he's with the Canes.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be cool if he was with another team. Especially if he was in, I'd say, a bigger market team. I think he'd be like a very popular person.
Oh yeah, there's definitely players like that. or if they don't get the national attention or Canadian attention or whatever, just because they play in a smaller market team.
Yeah. No, I think this sets up the Canes well for the future and for continued success. So nervous as a Devils fan, but
right,
we can. That's still good. We can still beat them.
I just noticed what jersey you're wearing, Brendan, and I was like, I know why.
Segue. I am wearing my Torrey Krug jersey. Yeah. He is not going to be playing the upcoming season. He's going to have left ankle surgery, or maybe he already had it, but he will be out for the full season. So that's a tough blow for an already kind of strapped Blues decor. I mean, it was looking a little bit more promising with Broberg joining the lineup, but now we're kind of like right back to where we were. I mean, again, he doesn't provide as much offensively as you would have liked, but he's still like a serviceable, like definitely an NHL defenseman. So it's a big loss for a Blues team that's gonna be that kind of further away from a playoff spot, I think, this year.
Mm-hmm. And we had talked about the original announcement where he had like pre-arthritic arthritic, and it like even the announcement sounded like he was probably going to end up getting surgery. So it's not a huge surprise, but I guess now it's just confirmed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that sucks.
That will be a tough one. And he's getting a little bit older now. I don't think he's like anything
pretty old,
super crazy, but he's what, like 33?
I was gonna say, yeah. I feel like he's always older than I think he is.
Yeah. I can't remember when he joined. Like, I don't know when he joined the league.
33, yeah.
Oh, nailed it.
There you go.
Well, that's good for me, I guess.
Yeah. And there's some other injury news. Going back to Carolina, Jesper Fast has undergone neck surgery and is not expected to play in this upcoming season either.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, don't want to mess with those kind of injuries. Like, take all the time you need.
Yeah. I think...
Because he is only...
He's pretty young.
He's already 32.
Is he really?
That's a surprise. Yeah, he's one of those players where, like, maybe he got into the league later. Cause, like,
yeah, it must be, because I feel like...
Well, I guess he's been playing in the league since... Well, like, fully in the league since 2015.
Wow, I guess I wouldn't have expected that. I was thinking he was like 25, like
yeah, me too.
I was way off. I'm like, oh yeah, he's a young guy. Well, evidently he isn't.
No. Even more reason to not rush things. And,
yeah, definitely.
It sucks when you have those injuries and like you can't come back, but like it's better to not force it.
No, definitely. The Golden Knights and Sabres know something about those neck injuries.
Oh yeah.
Those are serious. I wonder
if it's the same type of surgery that Eichel got, or maybe he'll do the other one that Eichel didn't want.
Oh, so he got the fusion.
Actually, no, the fusion's bad. I'm gonna do the other one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I guess if you saw how it turned out for Eichel, you'd probably go with the same one.
Probably if it was the same thing, but yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of surgeries, Marchand had 3 surgeries this offseason. He had his elbow, his groin, and his abdomen.
That's not every area of the body.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, your arms, your abdomen, and your groin. Great.
Yeah. Oh, so the things you need to shoot, skate, and balance and stand. Yeah.
Like, he can't sit or stand right now. That's great.
I think it was the start of last season, coming off hip surgeries. That's 2 years in a row.
He's 36, folks. Let's just remember that as well.
Yeah.
So, and it's a contract year. He has mentioned that he won't be talking about the contract status at all during the rest of the offseason and into the season. He said, just going to keep that private between me and Don Sweeney. So, mum's the word on that. We'll see if something gets done this year, or if the Bruins kind of do what they did with, or what Tampa did with Stamkos, and like, I mean, very similar situation.
Yeah, I think Well, yeah, very similar. I guess I was gonna say. Well, I think Marchand's been like really true to the team, and it's like, well, Stamkos has
Yeah, it's
been.
like, wait a
Yeah,
minute.
yeah, I don't know. Because again, it's like with Stamkos, I feel like it's like, yeah, he would never do that to the team. But then they had the like weird contract thing a few years ago, and like probably left a bad taste in like Stamkos's mouth. And it's like the Marchand's never really had something like that. So I mean, maybe it's just me being a fan and hoping, but I'm like, we talked about this before we started recording too. Like, I think he'll probably just sign a 1 or 2 year like bonus heavy, like Bergeron did at the end of his career.
Hmm.
And I mean, his 8 year contract was like super well priced for like a team point of view. So like, even if we
Definitely.
pay him a little bit, I think
Right.
Don Sweeney wouldn't be too opposed to that.
Right.
No, I don't think so either. It's not. It's definitely not time to be concerned if you're a Bruins fan. So
No,
we'll we'll get there when we get there if we do.
no.
But yeah, that's. I mean, we'll see how he plays this year. He hasn't really had like as much of a steep drop off as maybe you would expect, in as far as production. Um,
Yeah, he hasn't looked like himself, or he didn't look like himself this last season. But again, the elbow injury was all year, and then the other two were like near the end of the year. So I mean, that could be part of it. Because like when he got his hips fixed, I guess like he was looking a lot better. So maybe it'll be the same with this. Who knows? But also, I mean, recovery can be slow at times as well, so it could go either way.
so he had two back-to-back 67-point seasons, and he played all 82 this year, and he played 73 last year. Um, so, I mean, I think for what you're paying him now, 67 points is still pretty good. And
Yeah.
obviously, he's the captain. He's got all those intangibles that are worth something. So it's more than just the points. But I think just on that alone, if he can get, still another 50, 60-point season, I think you're pretty happy with it, and you'll kind of reevaluate there.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's probably why they're not going to sign him right away, or at least that's not the indication that we have. But
Mm-hmm. I wonder how that works with like 3 surgeries. They just put you under, like, all right, we're just gonna fix you up, and then when you come back, you'll be all put together.
yeah, I don't know if they do them all. Like if you can recover from all three at the same time.
Yeah, it
Like
probably
if
depends what they are. Like
yeah,
maybe a groin and an elbow you could do at the same time or something. I don't know.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
wondering if you could do an abdomen and a groin at the same time. Like
Yeah.
how's that gonna feel sitting and then laying down? I don't know. Like
But
going
like
to
you only
sleep
have
like that.
3 months in the summer. It's like how do you even space those out
I guess
otherwise?
Yeah.
that's true. It's not like you could just take a couple months off work if you don't need to. It's like we kind of need you back by October, buddy. Oh yeah, right. Playing in the National Hockey League, I forgot. One player who won't be playing in the National Hockey League for the next 2 seasons, Philip Zadina, signs with HC Davos in Switzerland, a 2-year deal. So there were some rumors that he was going to sign with maybe the Bruins or the Sharks. He did play with the Sharks, I believe, last season. So that's another one of the potential PTOs or minimum or entry level contract level, kind of 70-75 range. That isn't going to be sticking around. So we'll see if he ends up coming back in a couple years. But then I don't know if he really panned out the way that the Red Wings envision. I mean, clearly he's not with the team anymore. But
Hmm.
I don't remember. I don't think he was. Yeah, he's only 24. So maybe he's just trying to see what he can do as far as showing like what he can provide as far as offense if he's given enough ice time. I don't know where he'd slot in over there, but it's kind of like, yeah, you never know. Or just get the guaranteed money.
I think I remember hearing his name a lot when he came into the league. So like, it just goes to show that even like some of the not big name, but like I guess bigger named prospects don't always pan out.
Yep.
Yep.
No, it's hard to consistently stay in the league, and so it's definitely very valuable to have even some, yeah, like again, like we said with Tyler Johnson, somebody who's like been around for a while, but he's still serviceable. You can use him, in the AHL if you need, and so I don't know if it would be the same kind of role for Zadina, but again,
Yeah.
that's kind of what you're looking for these low end deals. I think we are ready to talk a little bit about the Devils and how we're feeling. I have a feeling we're going to be a lot higher on them than we were heading into the playoffs this past season. So,
Hopefully.
it's a
Yeah.
lot has changed.
Playoffs for sure.
Playoffs for sure, baby.
100%.
I even think, more than 100 point season and division leader. That's my honest to God prediction for these boys.
What are
Get
they going
some
to sign Dawson Mercer to?
He's
Too
pending
unsigned.
RFA.
Yeah.
that
Projected
I,
on the first line.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, he's just for some background on him. So he's played 3 seasons. He's played all 82 games for each season. 42 points, 56 points, 33 points. And I mean, he's had a 20 like the 56 point season. He had 27 goals, 29 assists. So like almost 30 goals in his second year in the league. I think that's pretty good. So maybe you get a little bit more value because he had sort of a down year, but everybody kind of had a down year last year with New Jersey, unfortunately. I'm sure Chandler's well aware of that.
yeah, it
was just
wasn't
a weird year.
it was a real weird year. Vibes were down, super down. We had a bunch of injuries.
Dougie, of course, out.
Yeah,
Long term was
yeah,
really not good. He should be
yeah,
back.
yeah. Should have Dougie back. A healthy Hughes,
Also,
I know he was hurt. He got hurt at the end having that shoulder surgery, but how long was he hurt for? Hard to say.
yeah, right. Like
When
that's
I
what he
when I could
stepped
read,
out, but
yeah. So no, I'm expecting some big results from this team. I know I said that I came in here last time and said that as well, but we've really addressed some of the big gaps we have, especially the number one thing I remember us talking about was goalies. How many just poor goalie play we had last year, and bringing in Markstrom, I'm hoping he just seals that right up for us. So
Yeah, they talked about Markstrom getting him and then never got him and then finally got him. It was like
yeah, yeah,
talked about for like a year.
it really
yep.
was.
That was the longest saga I've been a part of for getting someone.
Yeah. Do we want
Yeah.
to run through the line?
Yeah, let's rip through them.
Oh, yeah, Sheldon Keefe. That guy. I know him.
Yeah, we'll talk about how we're feeling with that hiring too. But so first line here we've got Palat, Heischer, and Mercer. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Again, we'll see how things. But again, they do have to sign Mercer, but I think they have enough money right now where that shouldn't be a major issue. I think they got a little bit more than $4 million in cap space, which should be enough for him. I think at this point for at least a short term deal. They got $5.75 million in cap space, and I believe he's their only RFA. So yep. So I think that should be fine, and that'll give you hopefully a little bit of wiggle room. But I like that. I like that first line quite a bit. Second line, we've got Jesper Bratt, Jack Hughes, and Timo Meyer. I really like that as a second line too.
great line.
Like that, I'd have no problems with completely switching both of those lines and like not having an issue at all with either of them, pairing up against the other team's first line. So that's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's great. And you have the flexibility too with how the season goes. Either Bratt can be in that first line, I feel, and Mercer could get swapped with Hughes and Timo. I think either or is really two really great lines.
which is great to have that flexibility.
Yeah.
Not every team has that where you can swap around that much, or at least you can try, but it doesn't always work. So I think that's really beneficial. And then third line, Tatar returns.
Yeah, baby.
And we also have Howla and Nason.
Holla. We the boys.
We
Yeah.
them making noise.
Making noise. That's what this line's gonna be doing all year long, baby. Lot of noise making. Some good points. We got Tatar back. I thought he was a great asset for us, 2 years ago. Good locker room guy. I remember watching him in Detroit for a while. So I really like this player. He's really good.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited for another season with him on the squad.
I don't think this is going to be a line that gets you a ton of points, but I do think that they are going to be pretty solid on the forecheck. I think they're going to be hard to play against. And then you kind of have a speedier sort of fourth line so they recently acquired Paul Cotter, Curtis Lazar, and Nathan Bastian. I think that works as well for a fourth line. Like, you're not getting a ton point production from there either, but I do think that's a solid fourth line. So I really don't have a ton of complaints. I mean, maybe you think, can Lazar be a legit fourth line center, or maybe you have questions about Howla too, given his age, but I don't know. I don't think...
the two former Bruins centers you're talking about.
Yeah, and they've never had issues with centers, so...
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah,
I think that's
the
fine.
whole forward group is solid. Like, I have no issues with anything there, really.
Which is good. I don't have a whole lot to like. There's nitpicky things, I think, but it's
Like, you could always make it better, but
yeah.
like,
You can always improve the team.
yeah, but like, it's top, top 8 for sure, top quarter of the league forward depth. And you only need to be in the top half of the league to make the playoffs. So
there you go.
Done.
And we'll take a look at the D-core as well. So they've got Siegenthaler and Hamilton projected first pair, which I think that can work, and we'll definitely see how Hamilton looks coming back. Really hoping, he's fully healthy and ready to go, because that's a big loss, of course.
Yeah, he's a big piece that we are missing.
Not only, defensively, but he does provide still a ton on offense too. So you can always look for that. I think that's really valuable to have. So and then Luke Hughes on the second pair with Brett Pesce, who's recently acquired. I think that was a great pickup. They did sign him to a long-term deal. I think that was a great find, and it sounded like Pesce really wanted to come to New Jersey too, which you always want to have that, a player that, like, if they can have me, that's exactly where I want to go. You love to see it. I think that's good, and then they also bring in Brendan Dillon, and then Nemec should be returning. I did think he tweaked something or had some minor issue when he was at the Olympic qualifiers, so we'll see. I think they probably held him out just because the team needs him for this year, but I think that should be fine. So I really don't have a ton to complain about defensively either. I don't know how quick Dylan is, but again, bottom pair, I think we're kind of nitpicking again a little bit. What about you guys?
Same way about the defense as the offense. I'm like, it's just solid. Like, I really don't have anything. I mean, we're gonna get the goaltending. But that's the only place where I'm like.
Yeah, and I think the defense is solid. We got a lot of young guys, but some really good mentors on the squad. I think Pesce's gonna be a nice influence on Luke. I think Luke Hughes is gonna have a pretty big jump this year.
Yeah.
So, and I'm interested to see more of Nemec as well. See how he does.
Yeah, I mean, he's a top 3 draft pick.
Super young.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like he ended up playing with Hughes at some point, like getting a little young pair going there,
The young
especially
bucks.
like maybe. Well, I guess they wouldn't have 2 D men on the power play, but maybe on the PK or something. But yeah, that could be good. And then we did touch on the goalies. So Markstrom acquired this offseason, and then Jake Allen, who they picked up at the trade deadline last season. So both older, seasoned veterans, and kind of next couple of years they'll have them for. But I think that's a lot better than what they were working with before, where they kind of just had some goalies that had a couple like decent moments. Blackwood had a couple like good seasons. Vanacek was like serviceable for a little while, and then they've run with a couple other guys that haven't just been the number one, like been the guy. And I think they have that now, and they have a serviceable backup too. So they're not like gonna blow you away, but I think with like the level of defense that they should have from their defensemen, I think like it'll be good enough. Maybe not for like a super deep run, but I don't know.
Trying to figure out where I knew the name Shane Bowers from, and I guess it's because the Bruins traded for him or traded him to the Devils. He's like a prospect for prospect trade. Back sometime last year, I think last summer. So that was all. But yeah, I think as far as projections go, I'd lock them into third in the Metro, and I could even see them getting second if like the Rangers or Hurricanes fall off a little bit. Like I can see the Rangers being more like they fall off than the Hurricanes actually. Drop a few spots. So but I'll say third in the Metro. Playoffs for sure. 100%.
Yeah.
Playoffs, baby.
Playoffs, baby. Woo!
Shake it up at the Rock.
Oh,
it's loud in here.
Pumping, baby. Can't wait.
I'm thinking like at least second in the Metro, maybe first. I feel like that might be kind of a big jump, but I'm gonna say second.
So who's first, Rangers or Hurricanes?
Probably, I think the Rangers still.
Going from 7th to 2nd. But I think we all agree this year was kind of like a fluke. I feel like we're a playoff team and there's a huge drop off this year. So
yeah, I think it's kind of similar to the season that Vegas had when they missed the playoffs, where just a lot of injuries, a lot of man games lost, and just kind of weird little situations that end up just not getting you enough. They were close, but not close enough, of course.
Yeah.
Chandler, you're pretty optimistic though.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have the season we expected to with these guys. I think after like the first month, it's gonna be pretty clear which direction we're going. If we're going in the same direction as last season, or if we're going in the direction of 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that they're gonna win the division this year. I think Rangers would be second and Canes third. I think this team's got a lot of talent, especially for scoring, and as long as the goalies average in the league, I think we're gonna cruise during the regular season.
Yeah.
All right.
I can see it. They are going to start the season with the Global Series against Buffalo. Where actually, I don't remember. Is that in Switzerland? Is that where that is? So that'll take a little bit getting used to. Why doesn't it say on here where it is? Oh, it is. It's just really small.
Still figuring it out.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't. They're like, it'll be somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not a normal country. Not the U. We're gonna make it weird times. You have to be up at 4 a.m. to watch.
Yeah. Czechia. Okay. I believe that's correct. And the Stars and the Panthers will also be participating. So yeah, I mean, I think that's probably good to have them right at the beginning of the season rather than because I think when the Senators and the Wild and the Leafs and the um, Red Wings went over to Sweden last year, like it was kind of a little bit in the middle of the season. So I feel like it's better to just get it out of the way first, and then you don't have to like randomly have a trip to Europe like plunked into the middle of the like November or October or whatever.
I was the start, but you might be right. Maybe like a couple games in.
Maybe it was. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean
know.
it's definitely early because I remember Ottawa was behind games like the whole season.
Yeah, that was a thing. It was like, oh well, they haven't been mathematically eliminated yet
Yeah,
because
like
we
everyone's
still
at
got
like
all those
15
games in
games. They're
hand.
at 8.
Yeah, that was pretty funny, and it was like they're not really that bad, and then they started playing more games. Like, okay, maybe they are
Yeah,
that bad.
like there's still hope.
Yeah, so it was in November last year,
Okay.
16th through 19th of November.
Hmm.
Um, which yeah, I think this is I think this is better for the players. Um, so we are 1 week out from rookie camps starting, and then 2 weeks out basically from preseason. A little bit more than that, maybe. I think the first preseason games are on the 21st. Yeah, so a little bit more than 2 weeks, but in 2 full weeks, that last started. So we're getting close. I'm looking forward to rookie camps just to kind of see. I mean, I won't watch all of them, obviously. I'll probably just see what things look like for Vegas, but I don't expect a ton there because we've traded away a lot of our pretty solid prospects, and we're supposed to be having some other young guys slot in this year. But um, always fun to kind of just check things out and remain optimistic while you still can. Owen could tell you for sure how quickly things can start to plummet.
Okay, yeah, I was trying to remember. It is October 4th is the first game. I assumed so because when I opened the NHL app, that was the first day it went to, and then you can scroll back to the preseason ones, but it doesn't really like specify preseason.
Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't do that. And
Like you said, that's the first games, or the first day will be in Prague, triple header.
what were the? Are they like
But
reasonable
I
start
don't
times for
know.
those games?
Well, it says then the Buffalo Sabres will play the Devils in the first 2 games as part of the Global Series. The regular season in North America will begin Tuesday the 8th. That's the triple header, the 8th, Tuesday the 8th. You got
Okay.
Kraken versus Blues at 4:30 Eastern, Panthers versus Bruins at 7, and then Utah versus Blackhawks at 10.
Hmm. For some reason, I was thinking that Vegas played on the opening day too, but they might not.
Well, maybe they play on October 4th.
No, they don't. I think they must play either the next day or in 2 days. I think maybe they play on the 9th. But yeah, Chandler will be the one of the first fans to get to see his team play. So that'll be
Yeah,
fun.
so I guess there's preseason games on that Saturday after the Prague games too. Because there's no games on Sunday, no games Monday, and then
Yeah,
Tuesday
okay.
opening night.
That's kind of strange, but
Yeah. Well.
maybe they just
So
couldn't get
October 8th
some of the arenas. I don't know.
and 4th. October 4th is the first night, and then October 8th is also the first night.
Yeah. The regular season officially starts on the 4th, but in North
Well, no,
America,
because I think there's
in the real
preseason
arenas.
games on the 4th as well, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is weird. Like we talked about that one. Well, they had one of those regular season games going on a few years back.
Oh, it was like the
When
Sharks or
yeah,
something.
it was like the Jets or something. Then like they were both
Yeah.
like the teams were both eliminated. And they had to play one more. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
we're just gonna go. Although I feel like I fact checked that during that episode, and then that wasn't actually true. That like they didn't actually start yet, but they were just about to, or I can't remember. But
Either way, it was weird.
it was
Remember it
weird.
being weird.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the important part.
If all you take away from this whole episode is that one situation was weird, I think it was a successful episode.
Yeah.
I guess we didn't shoehorn this in anywhere, but one final news item. So, out of the PWHL, there was that whole debacle with the Minnesota PWHL team with the general manager Natalie Darwitz being fired, or maybe she left. No, I think she was fired. It was like the whole thing with the captain and the coach and everybody kind of like fighting. Even though they ended up winning the inaugural championship that year, they still are in turmoil immediately. And they've also had, I think they had a questionable draft pick as well. But they have hired Melissa Caruso, former vice president of hockey operations and governance in the AHL. So that's good for her, and we'll see if she can bring something a little more stable to the franchise.
Yeah.
we yeah, I think any sort of stability and a little bit more structure as far as the leadership, because I think that was a big thing, was there was a schism there and things started to boil over and it didn't get handled appropriately. So hopefully this is a good move. I don't doesn't look like she has been a GM anywhere else, so we'll see how that part of it plays out. But that could be a while before we really get a definitive answer.
Right. Well, I know in the NHL it's like a GM joins a team and then it's like a year. Like I need a year to kind of get my bearings before I make any big moves. And it's like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't expect me to be good right out of the gate. I mean, come on.
Then even if I do stuff, it's like, well, yeah, it's gonna make an impact in 3 or 4 years. Like you can't judge what I'm doing now based off immediate results.
Right. Yeah. There's always an answer. It's a
Yeah.
little political, huh?
Hmm.
Um, we will get more information on the nicknames pretty soon, I believe, for
Yeah.
and all the branding. I think they were slated because we initially had said they were going to happen sometime in August, and then they got pushed to sometime in September. I don't know if we have an official announcement date or anything of that kind.
Let's see.
Um,
The hockey news. PWHL rumbling.
ooh, the
From three
rumblings.
days ago. Let's see. Team names are coming.
That's good.
That is good.
I guess while Dean scrolls through that a little bit, we forgot to kind of touch on the Sheldon Keefe aspect of the Devils' upcoming season. Um, that's, I mean, how do you feel about that, Chandler, as far as the decision to bring him in and what he could potentially bring? Obviously, his teams have historically struggled to win in the postseason, but that's probably more a Toronto thing than just necessarily a Keefe thing. I mean, the regular season teams, of course, were excellent the whole time that he was there in Toronto. So, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think he's definitely a good coach. He's proven it in Toronto. Um, and I think he's someone that can help us with the current regular season trouble, especially from last year. Hopefully help bring some stability, figure out our lines. Um, yeah, I don't know much about him outside of with the Leaves, but I'm hoping that's the playoff problems were, the curse of being Toronto and being that team,
Yeah.
and not indicative of his coaching, but we'll see. I think especially there's a lot of pressure for just his first year on the team. Um,
Which, I mean,
Everyone's expecting
Devils
playoff.
pressure versus Maple Leafs pressure, which I think is a
That's,
lot different.
that's also true. So he should be pretty okay, just jumping right in, getting us through the regular season. Um, there's definitely going to be a lot of support and hype, I think, for him off the gates, and like willing to let him learn. But the Devils, after probably half of a season, or maybe he gets a season if it's not working out, gonna start getting booed.
Oh yeah, we remember the Lindy chants from not too long ago.
I was there.
You were there.
Were you
You
chanting?
booed him.
I know. I'm sad to say I did boo him, but he showed us all his middle finger later when they went on a tear that season. But yeah, no, I'm excited for the change up. Yeah, we'll see what Sheldon can do.
And now Lindy is back in Buffalo, so the former Devils coach will be facing off against them first game of the season. So I think Sabres fans are happy about that signing too. So it should be pretty fun. We'll see how that's a potential. Like if there was, not really. I don't think the Devils are going to be a wild card team. The expectations are just so high right now. But guess we said that last year too, so you never know.
Yeah, I think expectations are high. People seem to really be getting on that last season was not real. A real spoof. I think if they have another letdown season this year, though, I think that credibility of the team's going to be pretty low.
You say it's Sheldon Keefe's fault and fire him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
there you go.
You guys.
Yeah, you got a built-in scapegoat. There's always the debate about like a player's coach versus a stricter one. I feel like, they tried it in Toronto. It's like, oh, these young guys need like a player's coach, and that didn't work. But like, I think it could work in New Jersey.
Yeah, I think Lindy helped with the actual like coach. Like I think all the guys got a lot of good knowledge of the game and what they need to do right now. And I think I do think that they just need someone to kind of inspire them, I guess.
Yeah. I think Keefe's a good coach. I mean, he seems like a good guy based off of his like when he was fired, like his interviews and what he posted online and things like that. So I think it's a good fit.
Do you think that the Devils are like a legit Stanley Cup contender this season too? I mean, I know like they just missed the playoffs last year, so that doesn't always mean. But again, Vegas did win the cup the year after they had been out of playoff contention. So, how do you guys feel as far as like legitimate deep run could win the cup this season?
It's always a possibility.
But probably not someone like you're targeting as far like if you were gonna bet on it, like you probably wouldn't. I mean,
no.
I know. Well, that's a whole like betting odds thing.
I just looked up the odds, and
forget I said that.
They have the third highest odds.
Yeah, I did say they're like tied with Dallas and somebody else.
Tied with Dallas and Colorado for third, and then you have Florida and Edmonton. Edmonton's in first, Florida's in second. So if they had like worse odds, like maybe, but with that, like.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm hoping for a Stanley Cup push, but realistically, I think a deep playoff run would be great. These guys need more experience under their belt, and then if we can get it this year, fantastic. Otherwise, next year. Wow. This year should be a really big building block for next season.
The Sens are much higher than I would think.
Oh really?
Yeah, plus 3,600. Like in the middle.
Yeah, I mean,
you're like that's not exactly where I'd love to be.
Yeah. We talked about them earlier, but I'd say probably, Edmonton would be who I would probably pick.
Yep.
To win the Stanley Cup. I mean, their team's just so good. I also think Colorado could be an interesting team too. I think they're going to be really strong this year. Carolina, we also talked about them a little bit, so I think they're a tough team.
I think Nashville would be a fun betting pick. They're plus 1,600
to win it all.
Yeah, with all the off-season stuff, it's like but maybe that's why they're this high up, is because like all the hype with Stamkos and their other trades.
You guys will each have to bet Vegas and the Bruins, man.
I'm trying to think.
I'm not a gambler.
Who my dark horse pick would be, like best Vancouver at plus 2,300. I said how lucky their season was last year.
Yeah.
But you can also say they only lost with injuries. Like when
Batman can't let that happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
Joking, of course. He doesn't really do that. Maybe. I don't know. Oh. They were so close though. So close. Got the ratings. That's really, as long as you get them to a game 7, it's like,
Yeah,
got enough money.
there you
Give it to Florida. They never won before. Move on.
You could go for the the new kids on the block, Utah.
The cup. Oh my
Then
God,
all
that
the
would
rigged
Utah,
comments
baby.
coming out if that happened.
the old Coyotes fans would be. They would be furious.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
A lot of people would be furious for sure. I think even playoff spot is kind of questionable. I've like tried to justify it in my head, and maybe we'll do a Utah preview next week or something. But that would be something. In that tiny little building too, like winning the cup. Well, not the building's not small, but doesn't seat a full arena right now. That would be crazy. Imagine you're like buying these $400-$500 obstructed view seats just to be in the building. You're like, you know what? Whatever. I just want to be there. I just want to hear the game,
Yes.
and maybe I'll just like watch it on the TV.
But they've got some massive competition for their logo. I mean, they took away that Arizona I love that logo last year for the Coyotes.
The Kachina.
Yeah. So I'm expecting big things from Utah. They're gonna take that logo away. They gotta replace it with something of equal value.
Yeah.
They haven't done that yet.
And they won't do it until next year.
It's like a circle. Yeah.
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 No, it's not gonna be like. I just can't picture myself buying a Utah Hockey Club like hat or a T-shirt right now. Like it would have to be really fun in some way in order to like justify that right now, because I just can't see how you can make anything very creative or fun
bought
out of their current
a
branding.
PWHL nondescript jersey.
I guess that's true, but
it was cheaper.
It does. It was cheaper, yeah. Not cheaper than a hat though.
Yeah.
Plus, I guess that was more just like if I thought that I was gonna get all of the New York like jerseys going forward, that I would want to have it. Although I didn't get the away one, so again, whatever. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, and I did look. I didn't find any update on the logos and names for the PWHL, but the original post said that probably mid-September.
Okay, so potentially in a couple of weeks we could be talking about that. I am excited to see what could be, and hoping for the Pizza Rats for New York.
The Boston Wicked.
So great.
The Wicked, yeah. If they just end up going with all those like leaked names
after all this time,
yeah, I would be pretty upset because they were not good. Yeah. I feel like I liked maybe one of them.
The Alert.
The Toronto Alert. Oh no, it was the it wasn't Toronto.
I was gonna say
they were the Torch or something. I think it was Ottawa Alert.
I was gonna say Toronto Torch, but maybe not. That's too much alliteration.
No, I think that's what it was, and that's why we're like,
yeah, none of them were very good.
Yeah, again, hoping that's not the case.
They definitely weren't memorable.
Right, and I said at the time I feel like it would be hard to like come up with good branding for some of those names, but again, it's one of those things where like you don't know it until you see it, and then you're like, okay, now I can like relate to it a little bit more.
I also talked about with like Utah, where I'm like, they should have just gone with one this year. It doesn't need to be perfect. Like whatever your team name is, it's like people just get used to it. Like not everyone liked the Golden Knights name or logos, and it's like, oh yeah, they're just the Golden Knights now. It's like it gets normalized pretty quick. So like Utah's giving up a year of revenue. Like you said, you're not buying a jersey. A bunch of other people probably aren't. But if you just picked Yeti or whatever and made a kind of cool logo, it would have been a lot better than waiting another year.
Yeah, that's probably true. And I feel like there's been other similar stories as far as the timelines for when they've like chosen these things, or like even like fan votes and things that I think I was reading for the Predators, they actually had the logo picked out first, and then there was a vote for what the nickname would be, and Predators ended up being the winning vote.
Hmm.
So, like, you could do so, it could have done something like that. Just come up with something that's a little abstract or whatever, and then see what fits. I don't know,
Yeah.
or just again, go with something. I think Yeti might end up winning anyways, but hopefully there's some good branding like that fan made one that we saw like a few
Yeah.
weeks
If a
ago.
fan can do that, like a professional graphic designer should hopefully have some good ideas.
Yeah. What names are you pulling for, Chandler, out of the 6 that were left? Which I don't actually remember the full list.
Was Mammoth one of them still?
Mammoth was one of them. Yeti was one of them. Hockey Club was one of them.
Blizzard, maybe?
I think Blizzard was one of them as well.
Hmm.
And then maybe like one of the B ones, like Swarm or something.
Oh,
Anyways,
yeah.
oh Venom, I think was because I think Venom was the one that I
was Sidewinder still in there? I really like that one.
Sidewinder.
Wasn't that one of them?
No.
No, what am I thinking of? Outlaw, maybe.
Oh, Outlaws. That was it. Yeah,
Yeah,
Outlaws is a good one.
similar
Owls is a
vibe.
good one, yeah.
Yeah, Outlaw was
Blizzard,
cool.
Blizzard's potentially cool.
Probably not your first choice though.
Nah, I kind of got lost. Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
think
get like Outlaw Day. I mean, everyone just dress up as an outlaw. That'd be sick.
that would be great. Yeah, I think there's like probably 3 names I'd be happy with. Like, I think if they went with Yeti, Outlaw, or Venom, I would probably be okay. I mean, I don't know. Venom's like they have to brand it the right way. I don't think
Yeah, I think we
the
talked about
blue
we
would
talked about
work
this
with
with
that.
Zane, I remember.
Yeah,
These team names are being voted on by fans. That's how they're deciding them, right?
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. I would just say, if you owned a team, would you let your fans pick your team name? I personally would just name it what I want to name it.
Well, I mean, I would give them like a multiple choice. Like you don't just give them free reign, right? You like have a list and say, "I'm happy with any of these. You guys can pick from here."
Yeah, yeah.
which that's basically the process that they've gone through is so they polled potential fans, potential season ticket holders, and then they compiled like their favorite 20 names, or maybe like it was like the most popular ones, and then they threw out like Storm and Mormons and all those joke ones, and then they had the 20 names. They boiled it down to 6 after that initial voting, and then like I think the voting for the second round has been completed. So then it's kind of just up to the team and
Yeah.
the design firm. Um, and of course, we mentioned it that Ryan Smith is the founder of Qualtrics, which is like the big analytics and data company. So like that's how he made his money. So not really surprised that they're going this route where they're like, let's really try to statistically get the best option or whatever. But hopefully it's the right one, or one that I don't absolutely hate, like Hockey Club.
Yeah.
Because
No,
if they stick with that, I will be furious.
no name's gonna make everyone happy. So just pick one. That's what I
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. People learn to like it if you're good,
Yep.
or learn to hate it.
Potential rivalry there with Vegas, and just me personally. So, yep. It'll be fun to see them in their inaugural season. We were toying with going to one of the Utah games as part of our hockey trip, but we did not end up doing that. So we
Because
won't.
everyone
I
hates
mean,
the
at least right
Bruins.
now, I won't be seeing them. That was the Bruins trip, right?
Yeah, but it was also in Chicago instead of
Yeah.
Detroit. So
Because it was Utah. It was like Utah versus Chicago and Boston versus Detroit or something like that.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh well.
Oh well. Next time.
Next time.
Next time Bruins get priority over Ottawa and Vegas. And then so do the Caps and the Islanders, assuming Sam and Zane go. And the Devils if Chandler joins.
I'm in.
Sweet.
Let's go, Devils. Always in for Devils.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a Devils game this year. I didn't end up going to one last year, but I didn't get any deals through my work like I usually do, so I feel like maybe that will happen this year, and I'll do something like that. Maybe Justin and I will go. Maybe I'll meet up with Zane. I mean, I'd be happy to have you come along too, Chandler, if something works out that way. That would be sweet. So
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
I'm just pumped that we're getting that much closer to regular season hockey and preseason as well, because we're a little strapped for hockey stuff right now. But we do have football coming up this week, so if you're doing fantasy, good luck to all of you. I have my draft tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes.
I feel like most
Good
people
luck.
do because it's like last minute, the last chance.
Yeah, that's the only reason I didn't do Sam's was because I have my draft tomorrow. I'm like, well, can't do it.
Well, I was thinking I've talked about how like I don't know any football players anymore, and I'm like maybe I'll do fantasy again. It's like I'm not gonna like every year someone at this point in the year asks me to join their league because they're like need an extra person. I'm just gonna wait for someone to ask me, and then I'll probably join. So, lo and behold, today I got the text. I'm like, sure, I'll do it.
All right, $20, fine.
Yeah.
Anything more than that,
Fine.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's just for something to get you more engaged in the regular season games that are normally like you would have no interest in whatsoever. So
Yep.
I do like that about it as well. I think that's all we got.
Nice short
Exciting.
episode. Well,
Yeah, I
actually, we
think
dragged
that-
it out a pretty good amount. I was
tried
wondering
our
if we'd
best.
have our first under 1 hour episode, but then we started talking about Utah and whatever else.
Yeah, that PWHL news really pushed us over the edge. But I hope everybody subscribes if they haven't done so. Check us out on Twitter as well. We got our shorts we've been posting on the YouTube channel lately. So if you're a Spotify listener, please check those out. They are kind of fun, little clips from our recent episodes, and we hope to have you come back soon.
You too, Chandler. Come back soon.
I will.
That's it.
There's the thumbnail.
Yep.
All right, see ya.
I will. Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
See you guys. Peace.
Swimmers are getting sick, and they're like,
Yeah.
no, it couldn't be the river.
Nah.
It couldn't be the heavily polluted river.
Yeah, it's good. It's fine. It's fine.
He was sick before he got in. You can't confirm or deny that he wasn't.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, you cannot deny